Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. And today we're going to talk about some partner label releases from OCN, Vinegar Syndrome. Some of my favorite partner labels and what they have just released. And maybe I'll talk about a little of what they've got coming up as well. But let us start with what I think is the first 4K from Canadian International Pictures. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I think this is the first one. It is called East End Hustle, and this film is from 1976, and it is about a hooker trapped in the East End hustle who's getting revenge for being treated poorly. Apparently, this one's about Cindy, who's Andre Pelletier, and she's sort of outraged with the sadism of her pimp boyfriend, Dan. So she turns her back on him and her seedy profession, and as he attempts to lure her back, she sort of doubles down on her rebellion by liberating new recruits, prostitutes, and giving safe haven to several of Dan's most prized employees, kind of crippling his business. As this gang of frustrated sex workers waits for the dust to settle, Dan grows incensed, escalating the dispute into a full-blown war. And this movie, leaning into his mafia connections and insatiable appetite for violence, Dan orders vicious retaliation, but Cindy has some vengeful tricks up her sleeve. And so I guess this is an unsung Canadian exploitation classic. I'd never heard of it before. Originally brought to American screens by Lloyd Kaufman's Troma Entertainment, it is a sordid crime saga that finds an unexpected balance of horror and humanity, and it reunites director Frank Vitali with his key collaborators from the acclaimed Montreal, Maine. This gritty, unblinking revenge saga anticipates future genre staples like Miss 45 and The Ladies Club, fueled by an urgent sense of danger and a memorable, funky, synth-laden score by noted screenwriter Len Blum, who I guess wrote Meatballs. East End Hustle is a 70s genre gem like no other. So yeah, this is pretty cool. This is a 4K Ultra HD and a Region A Blu-ray set. And it's 4K UHD presented in HDR. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from 35mm original camera negative by Canadian International Pictures, with the sound transferred from the 35mm optical track. It features an audio commentary with Paul Korup of Kinexploitation.com and film historian Jason Pichonsky. Like that track. I like the sound of it. Big Paul Korup fan, and always appreciate when he jumps in on the commentaries. East End Director. This is an 18-minute new interview with director-writer Frank Vitali. Includes The Art Bug. This is also a new 8-minute piece with Vitali on Montreal, Maine, and his career before East End Hustle. East End Troma, a 14-minute new interview with distributor Lloyd Kaufman, always entertaining. And Kaufman's Canada, a 5-minute bit where Lloyd Kaufman reflects on his Canadian connections. Renegade Films, a 10-minute new interview with writer Bill Brownstein on Cinepix and its co-founder John Dunning, and an audio interview with composer Len Blum, 15 minutes. As well as a booklet featuring a new essay by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. Always welcome. So Blu-ray and 4K and booklet. It is just a one essay, but Alexandra Heller-Nicholas always brings it. So very cool to have a nice little essay along with this 4K. So very excited that Canadian International Pictures, one of my favorite partner labels, is diving into the 4K world. Very cool stuff. Okay, next up we have another cool one here. This is from the good folks at Crocodile. They are continuing a series of putting out foreign animated films. This is one I had heard of for a little while, but couldn't find a good copy of, and so I'm so glad that they have put it out. It's Cat City from 1986. It's a Hungarian animated film, and it's about cats and mice. And this description is that an unflappable and unstoppable mouse secret agent, Nicky Grabowski, with his deadpan voice, baggy pants, and the big G on his shirt, goes up against a criminal gang run by the sinister metal pod, Mr. Tuffel. In Hungarian director Bela Tarnowski's surreal animated sci-fi treasure, set in the year 80 AMM after Mickey Mouse, on Planet X, where cats and rats have banded together to eliminate mice. The film features a show-stopping series of musical numbers, including a deranged Euro disco song, "Just Purr With Me, Touch Me with Tender Paws," is some of the lyrics, and a bizarre chorus of Mexican vampire bats named Los Vampiros, who inhabit an ancient Mayan temple, a cross between 1980s Don Bluth-style animation, The Secret of Nim, of course, and a British TV series, Danger Mouse. Clearly an inspiration here. Boy, I used to love me some Danger Mouse. That was a great show. Cat City has long been a beloved cult favorite in Eastern Europe, recently restored by the National Film Institute in Hungary from the original 35 camera negative for the first time ever U.S. release Blu-ray by Deaf Crocodile in Hungarian with English subtitles. So I got a chance to check this one out, and it's very interesting, and it's fun and weird, and just like kind of exactly what I expected, but not the thing that I could have known, if that makes sense. So, neat to have this on Blu-ray finally. Like I said, I've been sort of going through the 1980s looking at animated films that I might have missed, and obviously there are a lot, but this was one that kept coming up in underrated or, beloved searches, cult movie searches. And so, like I said, I'm really glad to have at least a Region A Blu-ray of it now. This also includes a new video interview with Georgi Raduli, director of the National Film Institute Film Archive in Budapest, on Hungarian animation and the enduring popularity of Cat City, moderated by Dennis Bartok of Deaf Crocodile. This is an in-English interview. New commentary track by film historian Sam Deegan. Another presence that's always welcome on Blu-rays, always great on the commentary track. New essay by film critic Walter Chaw. I'm a big fan of Walter Chaw, actually. If you haven't checked out his Walter Hill book, that is definitely something I'm interested in getting my hands on. So nice essay here in the booklet that's included. New optional 5.1 audio mix. 3 rare Bela Tarnowski animated shorts. Modern Training Methods from 1970, a 7-minute delightfully wicked and gruesome satire of athletic training. Let Us Keep a Dog, 74, 6 minutes for dog lovers everywhere. This classic Pannonia studio short fueled by a wild and groovy 70s jazz funk score. And then Where's the Limit, 1975, 7 minutes, a cheerful, oblivious orange figure bumbles from one surreal situation into another until he discovers he can escape from the cartoon world into the real one with unexpected consequences. Those sound exciting. I'm curious to check those out, certainly after seeing some of this movie. The director answers, Bela Tarnowski, 23-minute new interview with the director. I would assume that's not in English because it's not noted, but I don't know. Ahead of its time, 2020 produced 25-minute fascinating video essay produced by the National Film Institute of Hungary on the creative genius of Cat City and its importance in Hungarian animation. And then something called We Just Made It for the Fun of It, also from 2020, a 30-minute piece. Cat City director Bernard Tarnowski discusses his long creative career at Pannonia Studio and making his most famous film illustrated with rare footage, stills, and animation sketches. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion. So that is Cat City, another new one from the good folks at Deaf Crocodile. Next up, we have from Dekanalog, another one of my favorite Sun labels. They have put out this movie called The Taking. Now, this is from 2021, and it is a documentary, I guess. It says this illuminating essay uses film scenes to tell the forced cultural appropriation of a world famous landscape. Monument Valley is one of the most recognizable landscapes in the world. It is iconographic. Its iconographic use in American westerns has had a lasting influence on stock photography, advertising, and tourism. The valley has been given mythical significance as an image of a primitive West, firmly in the hands of white people and meant to be protected from intruders. The fact that Monument Valley is a traditional Navajo territory has been obscured in the process. A radical examination of Monument Valley's representation in cinema and advertising since John Ford's Stagecoach in 1939, The Taking scrutinizes how a site located on a sovereign Navajo land came to embody the fantasy of the Old West, replete with self-perpetuating falsehoods, and why it continues to hold mythic significance in the global psyche. Sounds like a fascinating examination of a place that we are all familiar with if we're cinephiles and have watched older westerns. So that's a cool idea for a doc, and I'm definitely curious to check it out. 76 minutes long. Region A, and includes an interview with filmmaker Alexandra O. Philippe, who is the director, of course. Super 8 montage of Monument Valley footage used in this film. Something called The Spot, a short film by Alexandra O. Philippe. Theatrical trailer, and a booklet essay by Scout Tafoya, another writer that I'm a big fan of and whose taste I enjoy as well. So this looks like a pretty nice lengthy essay included in this set from Dekanalog. I love Dekanalog because of the variety of stuff. They have narrative, documentary, all kinds of interesting things that are often relatively new, but at least for me, not on my radar. So I'm always curious to check out what they're doing. Next up we have, I think this is a reissue, although there might be some new stuff here. This is God Monster of Indian Flats from AGFA. And AGFA has released this film before, but I remember it being a pretty fun, odd, film for sure. I think this might have some new stuff. I don't have my old disc handy, so I can't double check, but just when you thought it was safe to go back to the petting zoo, you meet God Monster of Indian Flats, written and directed by infamous outsider artist Frederick C. Hobbs, Alabama's Ghost. Boy, that movie is something. This is the story of an 8-foot-tall toxic sheep monster that blows up gas stations, smashes crooked politicians, and terrorizes stoners. From the surreal Wild West locations to the outrageous monster effects, God Monster of Indian Flats is one of the most berserk and inexplicably deranged creature features in motion picture history. I do remember it being pretty nuts, if a little slow. I also don't remember the blowing up the gas station, so I really need to rewatch this. This includes the scene where the God Monster crashes a children's picnic. In wise words of legendary filmmaker Frank Henenlotter, get the straitjackets ready. That is a good quote from Frank Henenlotter. This is from 1973, 89 minutes. It is 1:33:1. It is a region-free Blu-ray and is preserved from the only known 35mm print in existence. So this may be the same transfer. I'm not sure. Includes the short Strange Sightings. And another short called Just in Case Suppression of School Bus Fires. And another short called White Gorilla. Those all sound fascinating, just based on the titles alone. Rampaging monster trailers from God's Monster's Cage is included, and then a bonus movie, The Legend of Bigfoot, 1975, 72 minutes, preserved from a 35mm print. Now, I'm not sure that was included in the original, so that may be a new thing they've added. But I do like me some Bigfoot movies from the 70s. They're always entertaining. Often they are narrative, sometimes combined with documentary, which I've always found an interesting genre. I don't remember if this one is that, if it's a straight narrative or if it's a documentary, but very curious to check out Legend of Bigfoot as a bonus on God Monster of Indian Flats. So that is the new one from AGFA. Very nice. Then we have from the folks at Saturns Corp, we have something called, well, it's a double feature here, basically. It's Hayride Slaughter and Halloween Horrors. These two are from 1992 and 2001, respectively. And it says, experience a double dose of vintage Halloween-themed SOV mayhem, shot on video, of course, courtesy of director Gary Whitson and his notorious New Jersey-based studio Wave Productions. So, if you don't remember, one of the first releases from, I think, Saturns Corp was this documentary about Wave Productions, which is a really unique studio in, was it New Jersey? I can't remember where now. That would basically, at some point, take mail order requests for shot on video movies. And they could be weird, fetishistic, whatever, but they would deliver a movie to the user that was asking. So I'm not sure if this is one of those. They also did some independent productions, obviously, but fascinating documentary. Well worth checking out if you haven't seen it. Maybe it's on Tubi, who knows. In Hayride Slaughter, a series of murders has caused chaos at a popular Halloween haunted hayride attraction. A satanic black cloak killer is on the loose, baffling the local police as bodies continuously pile up with pentagrams crudely carved into their flesh. The owners hire a renowned psychic investigator, Desiree Vargas, and her partner Cliff to pose undercover at the attraction as a magic act. Will Desiree discover the identity of the killer in time or wind up on the sacrificial altar of the nefarious demon Krotos? Nice name. Shot on location at the actual Frightened Halloween attraction in Delaware. Crucial fall slasher vibes, salacious full frontal nudity, and mind-melting rudimentary green screen effects abound in one of Wave's most sought-after and infamous features. Very exciting. I love the title, too. In Halloween Horrors, a pair of greedy sisters are kidnapped on Halloween night and held for ransom. When their father fails to pay off in time, the girls are tortured and murdered in the kidnapper's harrowing dungeon of death, or so it seems. Could one of the sisters possibly be in cahoots with her abductor, and in an attempt to reclaim an inheritance? Find out as Clancy McCauley and Terry Lewandowski star in this Hallows Eve horror epic from the halcyon mail order days of Wave Productions. Very cool. So, like I said, a cool sort of continuation / companion to the Wave horror documentary. So, Hayride Slaughters from 2001, Halloween Horrors is from 92. Region-free Blu-rays, both of them. New transfer from SVHS Master Tape for Hayride Slaughter, as well as a commentary by Gary Whitson, moderated by Ross Snyder, co-director of Mail Order Murder, The Story of Wave Productions. That's a documentary I was talking about. Hayride Memories, an interview with actress Tina Krause. Magic, Murder, and Mayhem, an interview with actor Jim O'Rear. Tina Krause, Evil Angel photo shoot, promo shoot for Avon Warren's uncompleted vampire feature. 2000's era Wave trailer vault. And Tina Krause fan club bumper original trailer subtitles. Halloween Horrors, new transfer from SVHS Master Tape, also includes a commentary with director Gary Whitson, moderated by Ross Snyder. And Pumpkin Eyes, a 1991 segment of an uncompleted Wave holiday-themed feature starring Halloween Horrors actress Diana Leah, and a Wave custom commercial as well. So this one sounds fun. I always enjoy seeing what they're putting out every month, and that is the folks at Saturns Corp. All right, so we have one more to talk about. That is, I'll put it that way, I guess. Pretending I'm Superman, the Tony Hawk video game story. This is a doc from 2020. This is being put out by Enjoy the Ride Media, another one of my favorite labels there. Skateboarding industry was going through a major crisis in the early 90s with the popularity nosediving and certainty of skaters' livelihoods unknown. But that was all about to change with the introduction of the X Games and the debut of one of the world's most influential video game franchises. In 1999, the video game Tony Hawk's Pro Skater shook the world when it sold 9 million copies upon release and changed the skateboarding scene forever, complementing the reboot of the beloved Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 games. In 2020, Pretending I'm Superman tells the story behind the game that changed lives and shaped a generation. From award-winning Swedish director Ludwig Gurr and acclaimed video game producer Ralph D'Amato, Pretending I'm a Superman is the story of the skaters and developers who came together to create the best-selling game franchise, as well as a look into how skateboarding became part of the mainstream and continues to influence modern culture. Featuring never-before-seen footage and interviews with legendary skater Tony Hawk, as well as industry stars Steve Caballero, Rodney Mullen, Chad Muska, Eric Costin, Gurr takes audiences through an intimate yet extraordinary journey chronicling the meteoric rise of skateboarding's most famous name. So I think I saw this one and enjoyed it. I'm not a skate guy, but I find Tony Hawk a really affable and enjoyable dude to listen to. He was part of a video game documentary that I saw some years ago that when I was collecting arcade games briefly, it was one of those things that I kept coming back to this documentary. So I kind of got used to his voice. Anyway, it's really interesting stuff, and it goes into some personal things with him that I find really powerful and moving. This has 30 plus minutes of additional interview footage from producer Ralph D'Amato, not in the film apparently, along with Tony Hawk's mocap session for THPS, Rodney Mullen skating in front of the Neversoft offices for a magazine shoot, drone footage of all the Neversoft offices also. There's also some concept art scans and a Q&A session from the premiere at the film at the Mammoth Film Festival. So that is Pretending I'm Superman, the Tony Hawk video game story. Real briefly, I'll just talk about a few things that were announced just the other day when this goes live. Canadian International Pictures is putting out a movie called The Christmas Martian, which I can't remember if I've seen, but I think I remember being one of those crazy bonkers kids movies that is definitely one that I'm kind of psyched to get a Blu-ray of. A new 2K scan. It says a viable contender for the weirdest Canadian movie of all time. And that's saying something, because there's some weird Canadian movies out there, folks. Let's see here. In addition to that, the folks at Dekanalog, AGFA are putting out Shredder Orpheus. This is the 1990 film. Definitely curious to check that out finally. It's one that's been sort of on my list for a long time, and one that doesn't have a great release history as far as I can tell. So then we have from the good folks at Def Crocodile something called Benny's Bathtub, which is another... Let's see here. How can you not love a psychedelic animated kids film in which a young boy bored with the dreary and gray adult world follows an enchanted tadpole through the drain in his bathtub, where he discovers a surreal and musical undersea world? That sounds fascinating, and I do like that it's more animation. Looks like it's got a lot of features and some shorts. Looking forward to that. And then Dekanalog is putting out I Blame Society, which is a film that's definitely I've heard of, but I've not seen yet, from 2020, directed by Gillian Wallace Horvat, who does a lot of work on bonus features now. Actually does a lot of work for Imprint and some other labels. And so I've been curious to see this film based on, getting to know her through commentaries and things like that. So that's I Blame Society, coming from AGFA. I'm sorry, from Dekanalog. So anyway, that's it for this roundup. We'll be back to talk about hopefully some of those titles next month when they arrive. And keep checking out Vinegar Syndrome's website. The Black Friday sale is coming up November 24th. You can pick up a ton of great stuff there, including a ton of great partner label stuff, which I believe will be on sale. I don't know how much. Can't remember if it's 3 months or 6 months back. Regardless, keep an eye out for that sale when it comes. It's always a big one and a time when a lot of people catch up on all the great stuff from Vinegar Syndrome and OCN that they've missed during the year. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.